Buenos dias.
Hello.
Welcome.
To the Cosmic Ocean Podcast.
I'm Fatima, your co-host.
My name is Nayeli.
The other co-host.
And you can follow me at the Nay_area on all platforms.
And you can follow me on Hija del Maíz with an E on TikTok and Instagram.
Cool.
Woo. Why hello there?
I'm trying to cross my legs. No. I have to use both my hands to get it.
Oh my goodness. So how are you feeling? How are you doing? How has this week been?
It's been okay. This week was a lot. This week we had the funeral for my aunt, and it was insane because we talked about how it was so calm, or just not calm. It was just such a different experience with my uncle. And it caught me by surprise, and it was a lot of emotions, and then I don't know, it was a lot. I remember asking why am I why, and it's not even just me, right? It's everybody, but it's like nobody turns it on to understand what's happening, because it's like everybody, because grandma couldn't sleep either that day.
My sister didn't sleep.
You didn't sleep.
I didn't sleep. I tried, but she wouldn't let me sleep. And then she woke me up so rudely.
So then it was it's not that I'm the only one she's coming to. That's not true. She's going to everybody. But because of our layers of humanity, because of our trauma or whatever, we can't understand what's happening. And so then it was just she comes to us just, it's part of the grieving. It's part of the goodbye. It's part of we're the family. We have to support her in this. And us seeing her also helps a lot. A lot.
So say goodbye? Seeing her.
It helps her. It helps us carry her. It helps her because we are carrying some of her grief.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Oh, so then you made a comment. So, we had talked about this, but I guess we both weren't clear with the whole funeral process, how important it is, and our teacher talks a lot about this. And so I think that living this process, we realized how important it is for the souls to have this this goodbye, it's for them to understand this ceremony, for them to be able to let go.
Yeah.
I think that for us was for me, that part was very eye-opening, because I knew it, but then just seeing it in this process, because it wasn't I think also death is very, obviously, what is it? How do you say it? The only things that are certain in this world are death and taxes. So we're going to die. And once you make peace that you're going to die, then you're good. What are you scared of? Because you already know you're going to die, right? But we all expect to die when we're old. When we're old, after we've lived our life, and once we are ready. And even if we're not ready, if we die of cancer or a disease or something that we know we've had that time to prepare, it's completely different, I feel, than when you die suddenly and fast, and also being so young. Yeah.
And I didn't understand. I just thought no, when we die, it all clicks. We don't need a funeral or whatever. I just didn't understand it. And I also hadn't engaged too much with ancestors or people who have passed very quickly, through clients or in my experience, whatever. I didn't have that many. But then slowly, oh my God, are you okay? But then slowly, they started showing me, okay, no,
Oh yeah, because you also had that with that client. Oh no, the client was older,
but it was still
sudden. It was sudden.
Not for her, not for the person who died, but
for the other family.
Yeah, and so then I've just learned that everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Yes. But then also, did we talk about karmic debt and contracts and stuff?
We did talk about it a little bit. I don't know how much.
But then this is also brought up a lot about how we're paying our karmic debt sometimes. Sometimes at this
Oh,
life
we
that
did
we're
talk about that.
okay. All right, so we won't go into that. Damn. Yeah, so this was a hard week. And I think it's even harder just to see the family, right? And one, seeing the family suffer, like the siblings and the parents, and then just seeing how everybody else just goes on. Just moves
Yeah,
on.
that was really difficult
Just
for me this time.
just like what is it saying? Like it's a normal day. It's a
Like in Grey's Anatomy, the carousel keeps turning or something like that. That's what Meredith's
Meredith.
mom would always say. The
Ugh.
carousel keeps moving. Or just life continues to go on. Like how a lot of people were treating it like a family reunion. And like I
Yeah.
understand that. And I
Yeah.
also, like, a part of me understands, like, why, if there's already so much heaviness and grief and pain, why add to it? Like, well,
Why?
let's be in our bliss, let's be in our happiness, right? And let's be happy to see the family. But this time I struggled, and I know that was me. Not just like, oh, it was my aunt's energy, she was mad that everybody was happy. No, there was a line. I can tell which one's me and which one's not me, right? And this was me, where I'm like, I just don't like how everybody's acting like it's a family reunion. And because it also hit me hard. I think too, just like feeling everything that she was feeling was like a lot.
No, I think that as you were saying, it's just it was that you can tell you were not yourself, and you were having a hard time processing and feeling, and or you were feeling too much. I don't know which one it was, or what I was telling you, you weren't allowing yourself to feel it, so it was just stuck there, and it was just there.
And I was just feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or carrying it, like the surface level of it.
Yeah, because you didn't want to feel it, you just had it there. So I was just like, Lord. But then also what's so crazy to me is like this, my cousin was always so family oriented and always loved to have us all together. And so then at one point, just having everybody there together because of her and to celebrate her life and to say goodbye to her, I think at one point also that made her very happy.
Yeah.
Made her
No,
very,
I
very
agree.
happy.
I agree.
Because she was always trying to get us all together. And she was always,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Again, it was me.
Yeah, yeah.
I was struggling with it.
Yeah. What? Why?
Well, because it was just like a big hit. I think like it was just such a big loss. And the whole time I was very hopeful.
You were.
The whole time.
You were.
And I think traces of my hopefulness was a little bit of her, but I think it was more me. Because I'm like, there's just no way that she was so young, and there's just like absolutely no way. Like I just could not fathom it. And then I never saw her. So I think like even still, like looking at pictures after the funeral and stuff, I was just like, this is not happening. Like this is insane. Like this is crazy. I just could not understand it. And I know how much of a big hit it was to my aunt and uncle, and seeing like her parents, and that was the hardest thing, seeing them and stuff. And it's like this, and I just would watch them too while we would eat, and it's like for us, like, okay, I feel better, but they're still carrying it.
Yeah.
And that like hurts.
But
that
you know
sucks.
what? Yesterday, so the funeral was Thursday? It was on a Thursday. And then on Friday that they were already moving out her clothes to donate and stuff. So
Damn.
I think they're also in a space where they don't want to feel, or they don't want to process, because they're also just like, so I think they were cleaning out her house already.
That's how they are, though. That's how our family is.
Yeah, they're very yeah, you're right.
Everybody,
so
you're like that. If I'm not, last year with my uncle, I was like that with grandma, like just taking care of her.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Like all the aunts and uncles, they're like that. They're super helpful, like super movidos. But
like, it's so funny at the end. Okay, well, not funny, but you know what I mean. At the end of the after the rosary, we had just coffee and donuts in the other hall or whatever. So we were sitting there. And we stayed late. Obviously, the whole family, just like the immediate family, stayed. Uncles, aunts, cousins. Everybody else left. And I was sitting there with a couple other cousins. Everybody was already cleaning, and I was just sitting there. I was like, guys, I just
literally, that's
and
how
they
it was
did that.
too for the.
And after the funeral, they did the same thing. Everybody was cleaning, and everybody. And I was just like, guys, I am not gonna move.
Yeah.
By the funeral, I was done. Because I went to the viewing and the rosary, and that was enough for me. So then, The viewing in the rosary was enough. So the funeral day, I was not. I was done. I was tired.
Yeah. But see, I told you
Emotionally.
that's the generational trauma. It's like we can't
They don't say and
feel.
feel.
We can't feel. So then it's
No.
like, let's do.
Yeah. Everybody was.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that I would have been up for, because I was talking to my family and my cousins and I hadn't seen them and I was talking to them. I just didn't like moments where it involved the alcohol. You know what I mean? That's when I was just like, that's super bad taste. Like it just, for me, and this is the human me, the medium or the whatever other part of me is like, okay, thank God they're doing that role so you don't have to, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I want to give myself the space to be like, well, that fucking annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's. I don't know. I think one of the lessons that my cousin brought to us into the whole family. I don't know if it's learned. Like this is the lesson I got. The rest of the family, it's up to them, right? Was that one, life is really short, so do what you want, be who you are, be your authentic self, and just that's huge. And then the second one too is it's just, I think it's the same authenticity, like the need to have to hide shit, right? Like that's not important. That is not. You should be your authentic self wherever you are.
and be proud of your authentic self, and then also do the work to unveil your authentic self, because sometimes I feel like we're engulfed in our sorrow and our suffering, and we're like, well, this is who I am, and it's like, you were not born that way.
Yeah,
it is a part of you now, like it's a part of you. You're holding on to it, you lived it, whatever you're going through it, that you're never going to erase that. You have to make peace with it. But that's not who you are. That is not all who you are. You were not born that way. You were born in your light and in your bliss and in your love.
Oh my God, I
Which
think
was so nice seeing Hannah Banana here,
Oh.
our little cousin, my cousin.
Hannah Banana is my youngest niece. She
Yeah.
is gonna be one in
April.
6, 7,
In a few
in
days.
8 days. Yeah.
Aww.
In 8 days, she's gonna be one, and she's just so sweet.
She is so sweet.
She's such a good kid.
She
Like,
is like very
good kid in the sense of she's calm. I mean,
not that
it doesn't
she's
matter,
just
right? They can
very
be wild child, whatever.
calm.
It's just easy to take care of her.
Yeah.
She just wanders.
Super chill, super calm.
Super chill. Super
And it
chill.
was nice to have that light there.
Yes.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
And so then it's like, see, that light can still exist without the
With the
let's
dark.
go out. Right.
Oh.
With the dark. But I'm saying like the light can still exist. Yeah, 100% with the dark. And it's like, I can already hear my shaman, Nayeli. There has to be, what is it? There is as much light as there is darkness. So it's gonna be inevitable.
Exactly. There cannot exist good without bad, even though it doesn't exist. Right? There's no good. There's no bad. There cannot be black without white. There cannot be dark without light. There cannot be hate without love.
Yeah.
So it's all a balance. So we had to see this, at the funeral. Obviously, like our cousins all prepping to go get drunk, right? To go party. So it's like it's not bad. That's how they process their grief. They haven't understood that lesson either, and it's unfortunate that I think our family especially is very struggles with their emotions, or what family doesn't, right?
Right. And that's us, because in a flip of a switch we could be there too. You know what I mean? Like that's me. I have to acknowledge that. That's just the part of me that brings me shame, because I'm like, well, damn, because I did live that. I went through all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like drinking and smoking to numb the fuck out.
Right.
So.
And it's like we can't judge because we've been there, we've done that, and hopefully we don't go back to that. Right? That is not. We know better. But
it's with the balance. Like I don't want to be like, well, drinking is bad and smoking is bad. It's just like
there's no good and there's no bad.
Yeah, it's because so then in my being, that's still kind of in there.
I think for you, it's that very black and white thinking. Once you get very, but that's like me too. It's all or nothing. It's that black and white, ride or die, feeling and the way we operate. And I think it's also very generator. You think, or does it come with our? It comes with our control freakness.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think you said it really well too, because it's like that's that loyalty too. It's like, why am I gonna do what I don't know if I should say that, but what am I going to do something that harmed my aunt who literally just died? So my aunt died from liver cirrhosis. And two, like my grandpa who's like been around a lot.
Oh my God, yes.
That way.
So Nayeli's...
So then it's like even more amplified. I'm like, okay, I've already lost so many people to this, just to turn around and see my whole family's like this.
Wait, this is what's even worse. We've lost so much family to this, and it's something that is curable and that is reversible. It's not like cancer. Yeah. It's something that they have done to themselves, and it's their choice, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what sucks. So yeah, so Nayeli's...
And we're actively seeing them make those choices. Because then too, I'm like in this space, like I was very much just watching everybody because I was just not walking around. I was like sitting down for a big chunk of it.
It's so funny. I think that's what we were all doing, just watching everybody. I was hiding. I was annoyed. I was tired. And I was just watching you, and we were watching everybody. I was watching my sister and trying to ignore everybody.
And they were just like, because it's like that our aunt who just died, that's us.
Yeah.
She
is our shadow.
Yeah,
she is the family shadow.
But in the context of that's me in another life, and I just died.
Yeah.
From liver cirrhosis.
Yeah.
Because of my alcoholism. Yeah. Because I didn't look at my things. Like that is me, and I was just like, that is me. That 100% is another life I just lived, and I did whatever I needed to do, and then I turn around and I look at all these other versions of me who are still doing the same thing, not seeing that this could be our fate. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. So on the way, it's so interesting. Not so funny. I've got to change that. Anyway, so interesting. On our drive down to the funeral, my sister was talking about a cousin that she wanted to talk to about his drinking because he had mentioned to her in December that he wanted to stop drinking, that he was a little bit out of control and blah, blah. So he had mentioned that to her. So she was so worried about him. And I was just like, whatever, dude, whatever. Talk to him. It's up to you, whatever. She's like, no, I'm going to talk to him. I was like, but only talk to him if it comes up. Don't make it awkward, right? Because we see the problem, but we can't fix it. And we also know that we don't make the change unless we want to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change for anybody else. I'm going to change for myself and when I am ready.
Yeah.
So we can't make him change until he is ready. And if he wants one, he may say he's perfectly fine, right? Nothing's wrong. Anyway.
Well, hold on. And I want to feed off of that and say, and I know that a lot of us, like listening to the podcast, we're spiritual people and could make the claim that, well, this is the ancestors are telling me to say this. It's the spirit guides are telling me to say this. It's the spirit to tell me to say this. Okay. I believe you. Yeah. And I think you're like 100% right. But that also does not give you the okay to tell them. You have to wait for them to give you the okay to tell them. You have to wait for them to open the door for you. So I remember telling my aunt, did he open the door? Because it's like, if he doesn't open the door, then we can be doing more harm. We can be trying to, get in the car and drive the car when they don't know what the hell is happening.
And that's one of the things my cousin thought and felt that she was fine, that she didn't have a problem. And my uncles mentioned to my sister that every time they talked to her about rehab, about getting better, she would pull away and like ignore them for like weeks, months at a time. So they made a decision at one point to be like, fine, we're going to accept you the way you are. We are here when you need help. But they didn't address it anymore with her. And because they didn't want her to pull away from them and something like this happened without them around. So I think she's a perfect example that she wasn't ready. She didn't want to, and she couldn't admit that she had a problem.
Yeah. So there's, right? and a perfect example of people trying to talk to her about it. And it just creating more harm.
And so my aunt was like, we weren't ready.
Thank you.
We were scared to not be there for her when she needed us.
Right.
So,
which brings in that other part that's like, I just could not believe it. So I know a big part of it was me. But then when I'd feel her and tap into her, it was like, I cannot believe it. Yeah. I cannot believe it.
So when my aunt said she did not believe she had a problem, it's real. Right. She thought she was okay.
So then when she passed, she was like, why?
What the hell?
What's going on? Like literally that non-believing. You know what I mean?
Isn't that insane? So I think that we can lie to ourselves so much that we could actually believe it.
Yeah.
And we do. Oh, okay. We have to go back to that one. But going back to this point. So then I told my sister, I talked to the cousin, whatever. Only if he opens the door. Okay. So we got to the funeral, whatever. We did the whole mass. We went over to the little church, whatever, to the reception area, and we were all eating. And so we sat down to eat. We sat down at the table. I went and got in line to eat, and I was just cracking up because the priest went and sat next to Nayeli. So it was Nayeli and the priest, and this priest was the priest I grew up with. It was just funny. I was just like,
but he got up really quick.
Yeah. So when my parents sat at another table, he left us. He ditched us right away.
Yeah.
So when I came back with my food to the table, my cousin was there talking to him, and I moved him, and then I went over and I was like, "Hey, dude, I'm sorry, I moved you. I was just trying to make room for the kid, but you can stay there. I'm bringing another chair." And then he's like, "No, this is enough of a confessional, and I'm done. I was like, "Well, what's wrong?" And so he opened the door and he's like, "Well, everybody's worried that I'm drinking too much." And so I was like, "Well, what's happening?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I like to drink. I've always liked to drink." And so we chatted. So I ended up having the conversation my sister wanted to have with him. And I told him, "Look, life is a balance. You have to make the choice of if you want to do it or not do it, but you have to balance it. So you can't live your whole life drinking every day. But then you also, if you want to drink, just with control, with balance. Do it once a week, once every couple weeks." So he's drinking a lot. He's drinking almost every day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week, he said. But it's just, he's drinking a lot. He says he drinks to get drunk. So I was like, okay, well, maybe just have 1 or 2 drinks to relax. And if you can't do that, then I was like, so then I gave him my example. I was like, I haven't drank since November. I was like, and I took a break on purpose to see if I could do it. But now that I noticed that I can totally not drink and be fine with it and feel good, then I know I don't have a problem. But if I would have not been able to, then I know I would have had a problem and I would have to do something with it. Right. I was like, and then I went to drink on Saturday and I didn't really like it. I didn't feel good. So I was like, so I stopped. And I was like, and he just laughed. He giggled. And I was like, look, but what it comes down to is like, why are you drinking? I was like, I want you to answer this for yourself. This is a question for you. Why are you drinking? What are you covering up? What are you trying not to feel? What are you trying not to process? I was like, so sit with that, process that, feel it, and see what comes up.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also told him, and give yourself grace. And tell your parents to give yourself grace. Because we grew up in this.
Yeah.
They even made jokes in it about the eulogy that we would be sleeping. We probably slept in more chairs at quinceañeras than at home.
Bed.
Yeah, than our own bed. Because that was the culture, right? Where everybody was always out.
Drinking.
All our parents and aunts and uncles were drinking. So then we grew up with that. So I told them, I was like, give yourself grace. This is what you saw. This is what is normal to you. Yeah. So they also have to understand this.
Yeah, 100%.
So I hope he reaches out. I told him to reach out if he needed help or he wanted to talk. So we'll see. But they're all great kids, right?
Yeah.
My cousins are all great kids. We just all have had very traumatizing childhoods. Our parents were not easy.
Yeah.
Our parents are not easy. So I think this is a huge wake-up call for a lot of them. A lot of them may not see it and come back to it. They're not ready.
Yeah. They're not ready.
But it's okay.
And I just, going back to like grandma, how I'm like, this should be a wake-up call for you, little old lady, and it just doesn't seem like it is. And that's okay, whatever.
My grandma.
My grandma.
I mean, your grandma. Your grandma was worried if I was going to take my boyfriend or not. I mean, that's what she was worried about.
Right. So going back to like the whole
authenticity of
like just embrace your children because she could literally not be here tomorrow,
I know. And so that salud. That was the other thing that I'm like, don't these uncles and aunts of ours and my parents realize that their brother just lost a child. And so I was like, girl, you should be embracing us here.
Yeah.
More.
Well, which is funny, which brings me back to this like whole thing. Grandma, when she saw me when we got to the church, she was like, "Ay, mi embarazadita." She was like, "Oh, my little pregnant woman, my little pregnant girl, or whatever." Because
she's in front of the whole family.
Right. And I was just like, whatever. We're going to get him where we can. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how I am. I'm very lovey with her. I'm always hugging her. I'm always telling her things. I kind of did pull back a little bit because she would get mad at me. Like literally, she'd be like, "I am vulnerable. I am love, whatever." But then in that moment I was like, okay, and then I went in there for a big
you're like, yeah. Oh my God, I love that you just said that. Get it where you can. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So take it. If she's giving you love just because she's in front of everybody, who cares?
Yeah.
Take it.
I will accept it.
But and you don't expect anything else.
Yeah.
Like, it's that expectation thing that when she did something and you were like telling me and I'm like, why are you surprised?
I think we were getting up for communion. Was it that one? Well, on our way to church, my mom was like, let's see if they let you take the communion
Holy
because
communion.
you're living in sin. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Based on the church's rules, right?
I was like, first of all,
but
I'm
yes,
married.
that was an ignorant
And then my
comment
mom was
on
like,
my
hold
end.
on. And then my mom was like, but not by the church. And I was like, okay, whatever. But then I was like, second, who's going to literally go up there and stop me?
And
okay.
Third. Okay, go ahead.
What's the third?
No, go ahead.
Okay. And then we're getting up for communion. It's my grandpa, my grandma, my mom,
I was at
Lola.
the end.
Oh, you're at the end?
Uh-huh.
So my grandpa, my grandma,
Sophie,
Lola,
you,
me.
and then me.
Okay.
Wait, where's Dora?
In the back. Christina was
Okay.
sitting down.
Okay.
And we're getting up in line, and we got a little bit close. Like, she was like turning, and I was right here. And then she looks at me. She's like, Nayeli, when you go up to receive the Holy Communion, get the blessing. And I was like, okay. I did not. It took me a minute, and then I was in line, and I was like, get the blessing. This little old lady, my mom was channeling, like, you knew why. Like, and now I'm like, okay, and I know why she was telling me this.
I knew.
And then when I said, who's going to stop me? And then my grandma told me, well, no, I got up there and I was like, thank you. And I walked. Well, because I just don't see myself living in sin. And then we go back to what you have been saying.
So then that is the old way of thinking that if you being raised Catholic, if you are living in sin, if you haven't confessed, then you can't take Holy Communion. So,
and if you haven't gone to Mass.
So Nayeli technically living in sin because she's not married by the church, right?
And I didn't go to Mass.
And she doesn't go to Mass regularly. So then.
And the priest, this is so crazy. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this ever. The priest right before was like, if you didn't go to Mass, you're going to receive the communion. If you had you're going to go, like, you're going to receive the blessing. Like, did you not hear his announcement?
Thank God I didn't hear it. I was in the back with Hannah Banana.
Where was Hannah Banana?
They were in the bathroom. And then poor Dora, she had to go to the bathroom. Hannah was breastfeeding. And so then I was like, hurry, I have to go to communion. Hurry. And she's like, just go. And so I left her.
Yeah,
oh my
so
God,
he made a whole
said
announcement.
That?
Yeah, not the one that you knew, the other one, the other priest that was there. He made a whole announcement, like, if you haven't got a Mass and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, hell no. Who are you?
So interesting.
So we go back to this the church thing, right? Their rules, whatever. But then so before I would be really pissed and angry, and I would sit there, I would just cross my legs and talk shit in my head the whole service, right? Because of all our learning and our schooling and our unlearning and everything everything our teacher talks about, I just realized, and she said it, she's like, guys, just take your blessings where you can get them. She's like, I would go to church and have a bitch face the whole time. She didn't say that, but that's my interpretation. And then, now I just go up there and hallelujah, take my Holy Communion, and you know what? And just be in that love, in that bliss. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we've been doing. I think last time was this the first time you've gone to church?
This is the first time I've gone to church in a long time. Well, I went to church when my uncle died.
Oh, okay. So I like to go to church. I like to go to Catholic Mass with my parents on Christmas Eve, but I don't think they invited me this year.
No, we didn't do that this year. No.
So I like to, but I like to just see the rituals, and it's just so beautiful in the sense of when you look at it through these eyes of God, everything that they say and everything that happens is just so...
Sorry.
It's just so beautiful. It's like...
It's done with so much intention.
Yes, the blood turning into wine, the body.
So much honor.
It's just beautiful, right? So I just enjoyed in that, and I went up and got my Holy Communion, received the blessing, because that's what it was, the blessing. And yeah, I did not feel bad or guilty about it. And it made me really, really sad to see all these little kids, like, going up there, and it's like, yeah... And it's like, really? So then you want them to be in God's good grace, but then you're judging them for not coming to church, and you don't give them Holy Communion. It just made me really sad.
Yeah. Because, too, I was raised when mi abuelito died. And I've just noticed, too, a lot of my, with this passing, I've been processing my trauma from my family and my religion now, since... that podcast when we were talking about the wedding. Yes. Because I've realized that it does open up this whole part of me that's like, okay, this is me. But that part of me that is my family is also very rooted in the religion and in rules and in expectations. And so when my great grandpa died, I remember we didn't listen to music. We were very much in the grieving. We were very much in the, we were Black, we are sad, we're gonna be sad. You know what I mean? So when my tío died, I think it was it was like that a little bit, maybe not to that full extent. And because the ancestors were celebrating and the ancestors were a whole different vibe this time too, I, you know, just handled it differently. Whereas this one, it's like, it was very difficult for me to find the light at the end of the tunnel because of just the way that things happened and the aunt that passed and how she felt and stuff. It was really heavy. It was a lot heavier than my uncle. And so then I fell into the whole, we have these rules, we have to grieve, let's grieve, and it looks this way. We can't listen to music, we can't be happy, we can't na. And so when I see people be happy and continue to live their life, I'm like, what are you doing?
What the hell is
you know what I mean?
happening?
But I feel like, I don't know. And maybe this is her too, because she was very connected to the dead.
Very.
My tío who passed, I think you told me that it hit her
Oh,
hard.
I think since he passed, it's been downhill since then. Because it was. I don't remember if it was her. Salud. I don't remember if it was a friend that passed first, a really, really good friend of hers, or if it was my uncle that died first. So it was two deaths that she was really, people really close to that passed. And since then, it's been downhill. So it's been a year and a couple months. Did he die a year ago or 2 years ago?
It's going to be a year.
It was a year in January. Huh? So about a year and a half. So yeah, so that makes sense. It's been this like about a year and a half that it's been a year-ish. Yeah. It's been a lot harder for her and a lot. Was she at the funeral?
Yeah, I remember her. She was at the rosary. I don't know if the funeral, but she was at the rosary.
Okay. But I think that was the last time
that we had seen her.
I think that, yeah.
That was a lot. And she was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. And she struggled with it. And she said she struggled with it. And she talked to it. Was just, that was really hard for her. And so I think from there, it just spiraled. And it was already out of control. But it just, that's when I stopped seeing her. I hadn't seen her again.
Yeah. And so then this is what's also really difficult too, when you start channeling and you start getting into that energy. It's really easy to and not even channeling like spirits, it could be with anybody, but it can be really easy to be enmeshed and think like, oh, those feelings are my feelings. But I'm also in the understanding that I feel like a lot of these are her feelings. With certain things, it's a lot more her than it is me. With certain things, it's a lot more me than her. But regardless, like, she opened the door to show me all of my stuff, because at the end of the day, she's still me, and it's generational. So her being upset, because I do think that it's her being upset. I think it's her, I think that she's very traditional and likes her, what I just explained. We grieve at this certain time, and we don't just act like everything is fine.
Expected the family to do what they did for grandpa, for her.
Right. And to at least, whatever, because I don't want to say they're not honoring her, because I don't know what's going on in everybody's minds. But anyways, I think she had a whole different view, like you just said. But in me feeling that part of her, it also opened up, because I believe that too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe not to that. Again, I don't know. That's where it gets messy, and we have to sit down and we have to process. And like I've said, I haven't wanted to sit down. And I have yet to sit down. But like I've told my mom,
you process a little.
Yeah, and before I went to bed that night too, I was processing a little. I'm just taking my time with it, I guess. Because, when it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
They will sit my ass down and make me.
I don't know why you like to do that. Like, why do you make them make you,
Well, it's because I don't feel ready yet. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, it just doesn't feel ready yet.
Okay.
And they don't make me. You know what I mean?
Until they make me.
But we have to remember that I have free will.
Yeah.
So they will... So it's push.
It's not that they make you, but they put you in a position where, like, okay, it's now or never. It's like, do it now.
And it's like, but I still have the choice to decide if I'm going to do
You
it.
can still keep ignoring.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like, when it's like, yeah, we're not playing anymore, do it. It's like, okay, yeah, I will do it. I'll do it. So then, yeah, she just opened the door and showed me a lot of that. And two, because it was all, and I know it's mine because I was raised in it. And when I feel it, I see everything I've lived. So it's not like I see her things. Like, I can differentiate what's mine and what's hers. I feel like when we do that process, it'll be a clearer, because I still feel her a little bit more with me.
Okay.
Not too much though. Not like it was, oh my God, not
Before the funeral.
yeah, no. Yeah, so I was like, damn, this church, this religion, really, it was who I was for a long time. For a long time. So I do need to give everybody grace.
Yeah.
I go back into that part of me that's like, we're doing everything wrong. There is no right or wrong.
You have to go back into that duality, right? And like you said, you mentioned, we all grieve differently.
Yeah. And the part, we talked about how in the other podcast, this is a shadow version of me that's like 17, 18 years old. I actually think it's probably my 12-year-old version of me.
No, your hardcore Catholic one this is probably your 10, your 10, 11.
10, 11?
10, 11. This is a hardcore.
Because she was
maybe 12.
Unforgiving.
Oh, the 12-year-old you.
Yeah. Unforgiving. Yeah. She was like, this is what's right and this is what's wrong.
Total grandma.
Switch. Total
that was grandma. Your total grandma. Yeah, you were about 12. Yeah, it was 12. You were 12. I remember.
And when I go and when I find myself like talking, like observing certain family members and being like, what the hell is going on there? It's that version. It's that 12-year-old that's like, that's bad. We aren't going to forgive them. And then I'm like, okay, we need to reel this in quick.
Yeah.
Because I can fester in that space. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And today I went to get, because I've been anxious these past couple of weeks.
You have, since the passing, you have not been yourself. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I also feel like I've been anxious besides that.
Did it start with the car?
Amplified. Maybe the car. I think it started with my classes, with the classes.
Oh, okay.
Because I've just been like anxious about it because I just want it to be perfect and I just want to make sure that I'm giving people what they pay for. You know what I mean? So then I go into that and it opens up this whole fucking door. But I've been anxious because of that. And it's like the way that you have talked about it in the past podcast that you've set, when you get into this rage and with like in your relationship specifically, you start falling into this cycle and it gets difficult to come out.
Spiral.
You start spiraling. That's how I am with my anxiety. I can easily do that in my relationship 100% with anger, 100%. And I've worked overtime to take care of that. Since I got pregnant, I spiraled here and there, but
you spiraled probably the first 3 months and then you've been so much better.
And I have been so much better. But now I feel like I'm more prone to my anxiety.
Oh, but that's fear of the future. You gotta come back.
Yeah, 100%. But then I've been on that, not too bad, because I can get worse, but this is still out of the ordinary for me. Well, this is not out of the ordinary, but I had been doing so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you hadn't been in your anxiety in a minute. Like you hadn't been anxious at all.
But I just need to meditate more often and take a moment, because too I've been drinking my coffee. That doesn't help.
That doesn't help.
That I feel like that amplifies it a little bit more. And now that I'm like addicted to it again, I'm anxious before and after. But the good thing is that I can see it. I just need to sit down and do the work. So this is the week we have to sit down and do the work because it's time. Yeah. But anyways, because I think I was fine. I got triggered, and then I was working towards it, and then I got triggered again.
You got re-triggered
with the death.
No, the car and then the death.
The car and then the death. So it's been like a lot of things. So anyways, my point is I was going to get my coffee, and I was anxious. Like the tiniest things set me off. They were like, you need to get up and meditate before you get your coffee so you can settle. I woke up, and I woke up late. Today? Anxious. Yeah, I woke up later than I wanted to. I woke up like at 11 when I wanted to wake up at 10, like at 11:30. and I got anxious right away.
Oh, and
then
you've been doing that.
What?
Waking up anxious because you don't wake
Waking
up.
up
Yeah.
anxious because I'm not meeting my expectations.
Oh.
So then it kind of just spirals because then I can give you the list of reasons, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I was already anxious while I was getting my coffee, and then I got it, and I was feeling fine because I'm like, okay, we're gonna get home on time. I have my coffee. We're gonna be good. And then the ancestors are like, Nayeli, this is how I was in Egypt in the beginning. And this is one of the biggest lessons I learned in Egypt because we didn't have itinerary like until the day of.
They do that on purpose.
And they do that on purpose. Like, I didn't know what the hell was happening, what I was doing. And I also didn't really ask a lot of questions. I just was like, okay, whatever. But so that was the biggest lesson. I didn't ask to because I didn't have the capacity to like ask questions. I was very much in my
staying alive, staying alive,
dealing with my demons,
staying alive,
dead ass.
That's
dead
how my demons
ass.
act, guys.
Damn.
I don't know the words.
I don't know either. Okay. Anyways,
staying alive.
And I learned how blissful life was just allowing them to guide me. It's just surrendering. And I was told and shown. I was told and shown over and over and over again that they were going to give me what I wanted, that I was going to be protected, that the experience was going to be more than I thought, that everything works out for me and for the best, for the better.
So they're telling you right now the same damn thing.
They are. They are. And
I think having Dora here was like that too.
What do you mean?
And my sister fucking dilly-dallies. She's just like,
she is very much like that. And we have worked so much, like, because I think we were a lot more, you know what I mean?
Right, because she didn't drive me crazy. I kind of just said, we're doing this, and then I just got myself ready, and Ben just kind of helped her around. But I wasn't like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do this. We got to do this. No, I just kind of just, da-da-da. Hence, at the end of the funeral, you guys were all waiting for me in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, we were pretty.
We were ready to go, but then my sister wasn't ready, so we just waited, and then all of a sudden I lost everybody, and everybody was waiting.
Yeah, because my aunt was like, "I'm ready," and I saw you outside, and I took that as an opportunity to leave.
And ran, and then I looked around, and everybody was gone.
And then the girls followed.
Yeah.
Her.
But oh my god, it's because it's so true.
It is.
I don't know. The other day I was watching a little bird. Oh, when we went up to Glenwood Springs on the river, there were some ducks just floating and eating, and I was like, see, those little ducks have no care in the world, and they have where to sleep, they have what to eat, they have everything, and they're not worried about how they're gonna get their food tomorrow.
Yeah, I was on my walk yesterday, and I saw like a hawk, and I was like, oh my god. And it was super windy that day too, but the hawk was just flying around, and it wasn't even like, it didn't even need to flap.
It was
because of
just
how windy
soaring.
it was. Oh. It was just, and I literally felt like I was up there with the bird because I literally stopped my walk and was just there watching.
I hope you were on the sidewalk.
I was on the sidewalk, and he was the bird was just like in. I just felt like in such bliss, like not even having to flap his wings because the air was keeping it up. I thought was the most beautiful thing ever, and I was just like. And then somebody came and opened the door because I was like by somebody's door.
You're like, oops.
And I was like, okay, I'll just turn around. He was far anyways at that point. But I was just like,
they opened there. Like, what is she doing?
No, they were leaving.
Oh, okay.
I was just like, let me just get out of the way. But yeah, so and I really lived it. I learned it and lived it in Egypt. They didn't give me a choice. I had to live it. And I understood it. And then everything happened with my plane because I wanted to get home fast. So then I changed it. And it was just like another whole shit show. And I fell into my anxiety again. So then they were like,
thank God it was nighttime here and I just fell asleep and ignored her. Oh, did I say that out loud?
And then... so then I was, and I knew that was like the biggest lesson and the biggest thing that I had to learn, I think, honestly, because this is what I fall into. But I always see myself fall into it, and I'm like, okay, just how can I stop? How can I stop?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you sit in stillness and in silence, and you meditate. Like, seriously, because then we go back to the calming of the nervous system, whatever. Hold on. Oh my god.
They're just telling you, man. They're hilarious.
But hold on. So then on my trip to my coffee, on my way back, when I was calm now, they were like, Nayeli, because you were in this space for so long, like, because you were anxious when you were in your mom's belly, because your mom was anxious, and because your mom was anxious in her mom's belly, like, you need to realize, of course, this is what you're going to resort to as soon as you feel something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is your favorite way to pass the time, just to be anxious. And I was like,
you're like, the audacity of these bitches.
Beg your pardon? It's your anxiety.
Kill me?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, they were like, this is just what you love to do.
Oh my. Called your
They
ass
called my ass out. I was like,
I'm glad
love
because
you so
I
much.
wanted to ask you that too. I wanted to tell you that too. I just didn't know how to say it. Now I'm like, yes.
Whatever. It's your anxiety.
But you know what? I'm not that. Well, when my whole surgery was canceled and my iron deficiency came up and all that shit, like I reverted like this to my anxiety. And like that whole week, I think it took me a week or two. I don't remember. It took me a minute to control it because then I started puking again. I couldn't eat. I just spiraled. I think I'm finally back to normal, and it's been
that's good.
About 6 weeks.
Damn, that's a long time.
So it takes a minute.
It did.
It took me. So it's so easy. What I've realized is so easy to revert back to your old behaviors,
and then to stay,
and to stay, but to balance yourself and get back to your normal non-anxiety, non-bad behaviors, whatever, non-behaviors that don't work are in your highest good. It takes a minute.
It takes more effort.
Yeah.
And more intention. It takes a lot more effort and more intention, whereas this is like, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's why they're like, you have so much fun here. Yeah. You're like, you're doing this yourself, girl. Because if you really wanted to tap in, you'd calm the fuck down. And then too, because I was in line and I was like, I have to get home because I have to do this and I have to do that. And I was on the phone with my husband and he's like, Haley, everything's gonna be fine.
I know. And then I
like
sauntered
5 minutes
in
from the house.
Yeah, and then I sauntered in because she was waiting for me like 12:30, and then you're like, oh my god,
I'm
like,
gonna get ready
I'm like,
right
it's okay,
now.
I'm gonna eat breakfast, and I ate breakfast, and I was put on my phone, and then she comes up all pissed off. I thought you were gonna get ready,
Okay,
and I'm like,
first of all, you did not come in and say it's okay.
I did. I told you it's
No,
okay.
you said,
Oh, you're not ready.
you're not ready.
I was just giving you shit. If I knew you were down this rabbit hole, I was just giving you shit because
I'm very especially with the podcast, especially with this little lady. But yeah, so these past few weeks, I've been in that, and
so give yourself the grace to come back to your normal state. But but you love the chaos. You love the chaos.
The inner chaos. It's like nothing is happening. It's just me and me.
Yeah, but it's okay. I love it too. And I got a yelling from my best friend. Well, I also got a little talk from the ancestors. I told you, they sent my padrino sent me a message through my friend, and they were just like, how are you? How are you really?
Yeah,
so I was like,
that's true.
But yeah, so we know.
Yeah, and then last podcast too, I think I told you that everything we talk about in the podcast kicks your ass and blah 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 blah. And I was like, does it kick my ass? I don't know if we specifically talked about anxiety but we have talked about the cycles and the falling into it. And it's like it hadn't hit for me yet. It took a minute, but it came for me. Good. Those words came for me.
That's what you get. I'm in bliss. What is it? I have no complaints.
Thank you so much. I have no complaints whatsoever. I live in my bliss and my abundance and my peace. So next podcast we'll be talking about our bliss and our abundance and our peace and our love.
All you need is love.
Shit. But yeah. Yes. This was I feel like all of our podcasts are a roller coaster.
They are. I mean? So you know what? This is just journal entry number 675.
But I love this though because I feel like it gives you on my lives you don't get Nayeli, you get
the
the
medium.
vessel, and it's like who knows who the hell you're talking to. But I think it's really nice to have these podcasts because you get to see us in our human experience. And I think Kat, you literally did mention that, but you're right,
with no filter.
Yeah, and it's just like you're watching us process, you're watching us go back into our divinity, go back into our humanity,
Enjoy
go into our
because
trauma.
In the next year or two, we will not.
We will not. This. What?
We're gonna be too busy.
I feel like I always want to have the podcast.
You always want to have our podcast?
Yeah. What do you mean?
We're gonna be in our next level. We're gonna leave little Aurora and Sophie to do the podcast.
I feel like we can add this.
Are you gonna always want to keep our podcast?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll just do monthly.
Has his podcast.
Diego hasn't produced any new ones. Okay, enjoy it now because in the future we're going to be transitioning to probably once a month. This is in the future.
Fine. Whatever. We'll see. We'll have to talk about it.
Fine.
We'll have to talk about it. But anyways, love you so much.
Love you.
Thank you for coming into this roller coaster with us.
Yes. Enjoy your week, y'all.
Your what?
Your week, y'all.
Oh. Enjoy your week, y'all. Okay. Love you so much.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye, Shay.